Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us at Connected Inc. Connected Inc. is, of course, a Wacom event where we celebrate all things creative chaos. For those of you that don't know, there are a variety of Connected Inc. events happening around the globe at our Wacom headquarters and different areas where we are located. So make sure to head over to the Connected Inc. site to see what other events are coming up. But of course, we are here today to speak with two amazing folks at WIA. So we'll stay focused on this. My name is Megan, and I'm going to be your host for today. And before I introduce you to our speakers, I just want to go over a few small but very important housekeeping rules. Today's session is going to run for roughly an hour. We're going to go through the whole conversation and then, of course, save Q&A for the end. First and foremost, for everyone in the chat, be kind and respectful. But if you do have questions, make sure to drop them in the chat. I'm going to be collecting those questions as we go through and then fielding those to our speakers at the end of the session. So drop them as they pop into your heads. We will, of course, collect all those. And now, of course, to get to the good stuff, the stuff we've been waiting for, I would love to introduce you to our speakers for today's session, Kate Menz, who's the program manager at WIA, and Aydrea Walden, who is the mentor coach at WIA as well. So a little bit about Kate. Kate, of course, as a program manager, she is an LA transplant from Rochester, New York, and is a U.S. Army veteran and mom to 7 lovely, lovely kids. Kate joined WIA in 2019. As program manager, she handles operations and development of the WIA Mentorship Circle program, the talent database, the scholarship, and job board, just to name a few things. I feel like there's obviously a lot more that Kate does. Alongside Kate, we are joined by Aydrea Walden, animation writer, and like I said, mentor coach at WIA. Aydrea is an Emmy-nominated writer whose credits include personal fave, iCarly, ADA Twist, Scientists, Barbie, It Takes Two, and Eureka. I am going to hand it now over to Kate and Aydrea. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are looking forward to listening to you and hearing from you. And again, drop those questions in the chat and we'll get to those at Q&A. All right, take it away, Kate. Oop, you might be muted. It's okay. It's not our first rodeo, but it's a good one. There you are.
Oh boy, what a great way to kick it off. But thank you so much, Megan, for that great intro. We really appreciate it. I am Kate. I'm happy to be here today to talk about my favorite part of my job, the WIA Mentorship Program. We're going to talk a little more today about mentorship in general, particularly mentorship from the perspective of the mentor, which is often kind of overlooked aspect of mentorship. Everybody knows mentorship is just critical in developing skill building and in growing in your career. But in the job that Aydrea and I do together, we work a lot with mentors. And so we wanted to talk about that perspective of mentorship in particular. But I want to start by welcoming you on behalf of WIA. At WIA, we bring together the global animation community to empower and advocate for people of underrepresented gender identities in the art, technology, production, and business of animation, inspiring excellence and justice in all facets of the industry. We envision a world in which people of all gender identities share fully in the creation, production, and rewards of animation, resulting in richer and more diverse entertainment and media that moves our culture forward. That's WIA's mission. We're both really proud and excited to be a part of that. And we just wanted to start out by talking a little bit about our own personal experience with mentorship. So I'm going to let Aydrea start with that.
Oh my gosh. Well, hello. Thank you, folks, for being here. Thank you to the team for having us. Yeah, I mean, from my own experience with mentorship, I've been on both sides of it. I have been both mentored and I mentor. I have been in very formal programs that had really extensive curriculum and that lasted a long time. And I've had informal mentoring sessions where it was really just me being able to connect with someone with more experience. And both styles of those things were really crucial for me getting the information that I needed to move through my career. I spend most of my time writing television, but I don't come from that background at all. No one in my family is a professional creative. I come from a small town in Texas, had no idea how to do anything from get a job in the industry, navigate living in a city like Los Angeles. And it was really through the guidance of folks who knew more than me that I was able to get that information. It's the kind of things that, as Kate mentioned, we all know that this part is really important. It's the stuff that doesn't come up in school, the stuff that really only comes through lived experience. And then I have also mentored. As mentioned, I am the mentor coach for WIA. So I work with the mentors across our group mentoring program or circles program, which we can get into more details about shortly. And I work with them to help them understand what their responsibilities are, where their responsibilities end, how the program works, how they can create curriculum and materials to support their mentees. I help them troubleshoot questions if something comes up with a mentee, whether that's something that they don't know how to answer themselves, or a mentee is having a personal issue and the mentor doesn't know how much to intervene or how much to be a part. They help sort through things like that. I help connect mentors with other mentors in the program to also build support for them that way. And then I have also led a group, or a circle as we call them, through the WIA program as well. So that was me working with 6 mentees. That circle happened to be on networking. So we spent 4 months of the program talking about networking, working with them one-on-one and as a group, giving them exercises as well as instruction. That's me.
I have also mentored and been a mentee. I really, along with everybody else in the world, recognize the importance of mentorship. And I think that we'd be hard pressed to find somebody in the world that has not been mentored in some way, right? I think everybody, like you said, that's where the lived experience and the work experience portion comes from. Somebody who comes alongside you and says, you know, hey, here's a little tidbit that I didn't know when I was in your place, or something along those lines. So in 2019, when I joined WIA as the administrative assistant, I was invited to be part of a leadership circle as a mentee. And so I excitedly applied for that and have been the recipient of Tom Henschel, the executive leadership coach, his mentorship for the last 4 years, which I will be eternally grateful for. But it was a relationship that started out in an official mentoring capacity through the WIA Mentorship Circles program. I applied, I was part of that circle. It was 1 mentor to 4 mentees at the time. And it just helped us to build a relationship that has been rock solid ever since. For the last 4 years, I have maintained contact monthly with one of the other mentees and with Tom as well, still in sort of in a mentoring capacity. And it's just been so instrumental in how I look at my day-to-day job and how I think about it, and how I reframe my thinking about certain things that have happened, or how I handled things, also in how I criticize myself. It's been really interesting to have the perspective of another professional and somebody, you know, with the experience, with the lived experience, and who works as a leadership coach. That perspective has just been really instrumental in developing who I am today as a program manager, and how I approach my work and how I approach my colleagues. And so that's just been a really wonderful thing to be a part of for the last few years. I have also mentored. I have not mentored a circle. I run those operationally, so I can't, unfortunately, I can't participate right now in that capacity. But I have mentored one-on-one with a lot of in a lot of different areas during my military career. I think that a lot of mothers mentor each other. A lot of mothers who have older kids mentor mothers who have younger kids. You start to recognize a mentorship relationship once you become really aware of what mentorship is and how you support and build people up. So in a lot of different areas in my life, I have mentored. I think with that, we should jump into a little bit of information about our program so that people understand what that looks like. And the mentorship program mission or statement is that we connect people at all professional levels to dedicated mentors who can help them achieve the next steps in their career. So I think that the most important thing to know about the WIA Mentorship Circles program, especially from the perspective of approaching it as a mentor, is that it's a professional program, not a student or teaching program. Of course, mentors always teach, but the people who participate in the WIA Mentorship Circles program as mentees are all aspiring professionals, which is a category of professional with 0 years of experience, but that they are seniors in college and are ready to enter the industry within the next year. Aydrea, why do you think that kind of makes a difference, being a professional program?
Yeah, I think one of the things that is helpful about that is while the mentors are giving guidance about like the nuances of moving through the industry, this is not a program where people are like learning to storyboard for the first time. This is not someone starting with zero understanding or zero information about the craft that they are pursuing. This is really about how to take what you have learned and then start working. There are places available where people can go to learn how to storyboard or model or write or whatever for the first time. And this is just not that program. This is really helping people like spin up to get into the industry and then stay in the industry as well. And I know and I can speak for me, my background is writing, and like teaching people to write is like not the most fun thing for me. Like I would much rather talk about getting jobs and keeping jobs and moving up through the workplace and finessing your craft or doing small refinements. There are plenty of people who love teaching the beginning parts of the skill, and that's just not me. That's okay. So that's something that is also really exciting to me about this program.
Yeah, and I think to a lot of mentors too. I think some mentors are overwhelmed by the idea, and in no way do I mean this negatively. I think a lot of mentors are overwhelmed by the idea of mentoring students, of critiquing work and things like that. And some mentors look for that. And if that's the case, this is the program for you. Wonderful programs out there to mentor students, and those exist, but there are a lot of mentors that really, just like Aydrea, want to help people finesse their skill, find the door into the industry, help them prepare for the next step of their career. And so our program does span from aspiring professionals who are trying to break into the industry, early professionals, which I think is 1 to 2 years of experience, something like that. Early professional, which is like 3 to 5 year, and then
More experienced.
Senior professional, I think. I can't remember our exact term for it, but 6 to 10 plus years of experience. And so that is the level of mentees that you're going to see at WIA if you decide to come and be part of our program, or if you are trying to, be mentored in our program.
Can I say one more thing that came to mind is that these are also all adults. Not everyone wants to mentor like teenagers or kids. Many people do want to mentor teenagers or kids, but all of our folks, you have to be in your last year of training, whether that's university, undergrad, grad, whatever it is. So these are also like adults, and they bring with them, even though some of them are young adults, they do bring with them some of those adult skill sets that you get simply by living a little while longer and having more life experience in general, which I think is another place that can be interesting to people.
Yeah, and like we have said, there are other programs for these other these other levels. I think that's one thing that's really important as a mentor to find out when you are looking for somewhere to mentor. If you're not just going to jump in and say, I'm going to mentor Aydrea Walden for the next year. If you're looking for a place to mentor, these are important things to find out. Who are you going to be mentoring? Ask yourself, who do you want to mentor? What level of person do you want to mentor? And so that's why we've kind of led with this about our program, that we mentor professionals and aspiring professionals. In addition, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I think just to piggyback on what you were saying is, as mentors are looking for opportunities it's okay to have that real understanding of yourself, of like how much time you have to offer, how much bandwidth you have. You know, we're all tired and we all have other responsibilities. So I think it's really okay to say, like, I want to mentor, but I have 4 hours a month, which is our program is 4 hours a month, as opposed to something that's more time intensive, like a program where every weekend you're meant to be somewhere. Again, those programs are beautiful and wonderful. I know for me personally, when I was looking for mentoring opportunities, that was a real challenge for me. I was like, I can't be somewhere every weekend. I would love it if that was me, but that isn't me. That's not the reality of my life. And I think being okay with who you are, how much time you have to bring to the table, who you want to work with, like it's okay to not want to work with like super young people, or it's okay to not want to do whatever it is you don't want to do. And it is really joyful and lovely to be like, this is what I want to do, and to confidently move towards finding that.
Yes, definitely. Like Aydrea mentioned, our program is 4 hours a month for a duration of 4 months. We have found that to just be a really manageable amount of time, and a really successful time frame where you have enough time to get to know your mentees, for the mentees to get to know each other, and for you to really, really develop not just a mentoring relationship, but to potentially start seeing the mentees grow. As a mentor, one of the biggest, I think, rewards is that like direct reward of the face-to-face with somebody. And to do that for 2 weeks or for a month is phenomenal. Give that time if and when you can, but when you can do it for just a little bit longer, you start to kind of see the mentees grow in either in their skill, if it's a technical circle, or in their networking, or some of them some of them will get that job during that time or something like that. And so that we have found that amount of time to be manageable and sustainable. People can mentor at WIA once a year or twice a year, and that amount of time gives people a break in between. And so that's what our program looks like. It is fully virtual. And it's been really successful. And I think that our next step is that we want to talk a little bit about what separates our program from other programs and why it has been so successful. What is your number one thing, Aydrea, why you think that our program is successful and why mentors want to join us to be part of it?
Oh, so many things. I think one of the things that I find really exciting about it is that mentors, so it's group mentoring, but it's mentoring around a topic of a mentor's choosing, and they are allowed to mentor in whatever style works for them. So there's just tons of flexibility in terms of like what you're talking about and how you're talking about it. So like I said, some people do mentor directly in line with their craft. So we certainly have plenty of storyboard artists who mentor folks about how to find specifically storyboarding jobs, how to move through the steps of that career path, etc. And then we have some, I'm just going to keep using storyboard artists, who mentor on leadership, or who will mentor on communication skills or things like that. So you can either mentor in line with what it is that you do daily, or you can find another topic or area of conversation. And we also allow our mentors to build their curriculum however they want. So some mentors have a classroom style. They sort of lecture during their meetings, and then there's time for questions, and maybe there's assignments. Some people have like an open office hours kind of vibe where it's just, hey, mentees, come in, bring your questions. We're just going to talk about what was literally happening for you this week. Some people have their mentees work on a project together over the 4 months. Some people have their mentees work on individual projects. And so you're really able to, in this program, really able to lean into all of your strengths and move forward that way, which I think is really nice.
Yes, no, I think that's great. Not just your technical strengths, your technical expertise, but all of what makes you a great professional, right? You can use every aspect of that. Oh man, I had a thought and it just escaped my mind. Darn it. Well, I think I was going to ask, this is where you come in, I think. Oh, I know what I remember the thought. The one thing that unites all of these different ways of mentoring in a circle is that we stay really focused on our mission, which is getting people to the next step of their career. So for those aspiring professionals, the next step of their career is the first step of their career, right? They want to get their foot in the door. They want to get that job. For those early professionals, it might be, developing some more networking skills or confidence building in order for them to take the next step into their early career years. So, whatever stage of professional you're mentoring, our goal is to help just push them up to the next level. And so I think that's the main focus. And we find all sorts of creative ways of providing that support. And I think that is kind of that's sort of your area, Aydrea. Tell us a little bit about what you do as a coach and how you support the mentors.
So, thank you for your kind words and also for doing every single other thing so that I can do this part. So mentors come into the program. They either reach out to Kate or to Wia and say, hey, I'm interested in mentoring. And we send them a form to fill out that gets the basic info. Who are you? And like, what do you do? But also asks them just some questions about like, what's inspiring you to mentor? What's a change you'd like to see in the industry? What are some things you are proud of? What are some challenges you've had? And what are you interested in sharing? So just like a little intake form to get to know them. And then I'll meet with the mentors one-on-one to just continue getting to know them, to put names with faces, to continue getting to know them. Some mentors come to the program really feeling like they know what they want to mentor about. Some people have no idea. And so in talking to them and kind of understanding more about what they do and what their bandwidth is, I help them decide on what they want their circle topic to be and how they might want to approach it, like what style of meeting they want to have, and also what size they would like it to be. The sweet spot for our circles is 6 to 10 mentees. 10 really can be a lot. And so I work with them to determine, do you want to have 6 people? Do you want to have 7 people? Who do you think you can be of most support to? And supporting them through that. Then just kind of the way the program works, all our mentors write up a description of their circle, and then that is what mentees see when they apply to the circle. It's an application-based program. So I help them write that description, making sure that it's explaining who they are, where they're coming from, and what they are going to talk about, and also what they're not going to talk about, so that mentees have a really great understanding of what they're going to be getting into in this circle. And then once the circles get going, mentees apply to the circle, our mentors choose them. Typically that happens without anything happening, like other than like Kate's setting up the infrastructure and getting it going, but we don't tell mentors who to choose. But sometimes mentors have a question about, oh, this person seems close, or I don't know if this person's a fit. So sometimes we'll join the conversation at that point and help, again, not tell them who to choose, but work with them to understand what it is they're looking for, and then see if these folks seem to be in alignment with that. And then once circles are going, I'll sort of chime in if someone has a question or a challenge. Some common challenges are things like attendance. If a mentee is not showing up, we troubleshoot about what to do. about that. If another very common challenge is the group very quiet and not participating as much as a mentor would like. So we have a lot of tips and tricks to help with that. And so as mentors have challenges, I connect with them to help them sort through their challenges. That's me.
Yeah, so I think that really encompass like all of that to say that mentors are really well supported in our program. And I think that I want to lean hard into the beginning portion of what you do as a mentor coach in how you support mentors and understanding, I think, what they have to give and how they are going to, how they want to, and how they're going to give it. And I think that one really great thing that you do is you rein all of that into something that will really I'm losing not my train of thought. My words are flying away. I think that you take all of that into consideration when helping somebody put together a package that really will accomplish our mission of helping people to step up to the next level. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. So when a mentor decides to join our program, they're really well supported by Aydrea. And Aydrea actually does have another counterpart, Imke Furman, who lives in Germany and mentors or guides. And oh, here it is, the interruption.
Always a delight.
I promised Aydrea and the wonderful people at Wacom in the background that we would definitely have one interruption at least during this. So my apologies. But anyway, yeah, Aydrea does have a counterpart who works with our mentors who are in the EMEA regions. So we do have 2 mentor coaches, and Aydrea provides support to everybody in North America, essentially, and has her meeting times that are appropriate and convenient for them. And Imke,
just to say it, just in case anyone's in like North America, South, if anyone's in like South or Central America and it's interested, it's really like a time zone issue.
Yes. Yeah. So not just North America, the Americas.
The Americas. We just don't have any mentors from South America at the moment, but
and Canada. So maybe we should just say hemispheres. Is that, I don't even know. Yeah. Well, we have 2 mentor coaches in different time zones to help everybody. So, but yes, so we love our mentor coaches. They really provide a level of support that I don't think all programs are able to provide their mentors. So we're really happy to be able to do that. I just wanted to talk a minute about operations because I do think that that's another thing that prevents people from wanting to jump in. We handle all the operations internally. Aydrea directly supports the mentors, but I directly manage the process. We manage the whole application process. And while the mentors always choose their own mentees, we handle all acceptance and rejections. So I will send out a lovely acceptance letter and a very supportive, I don't like to say rejection. It makes me sad, but a non-selected letter. So we do have that whole process taken care of for our mentors. If you are looking to mentor, I think that it's really important that you also understand what's going to be expected from you, not just as a mentor, but holistically. What does the process look like of finding the mentee? How much of the responsibility am I going to be holding as a mentor in the operational part of the process? So
the thing about the applications that you just reminded me of is I think there are a lot of programs that will like match you with someone, and that's kind of based off like your job and what they want to do. And it may not be a personality fit. It may not be a values fit. It doesn't mean that anyone is right or wrong or good or bad. It may just be like, I don't really vibe with this person, but now I'm like kind of stuck with them for 6 months or a year or however long the program is. And one of the things that's really nice about the program, about this program, is that it is an application. You get to choose. And obviously there's still subjectivity there, but you have the ability to look at someone's application, look at their if they submitted a portfolio, look at their LinkedIn, really get an idea of who they are and see if like this is a person who you think you can support based on just who you are. And not selecting someone doesn't mean that you're like rejecting them or like ruining their chances. It's just being able to be honest and like, yeah, I don't think that person is a fit for what I bring to the table. And it is okay to like wish them well and wish them all the support in the future, but it's also okay to be discerning about who you are going to be spending your time with and who you are going to be giving your information, your energy, and resources to. I think that's a really nice part of the program as well.
Yeah. And I think that naturally people who mentor are really giving people. And we always find that that is one of the hardest things for, I always say our mentors, for we as mentors, is to say, thank you, but no, thank you. We try to take some of the load of that off of our mentors by making official acceptance and rejections. But it is always hard. It's hard for every mentor to say no, because everybody who approaches mentorship does it with a giving heart, because of the nature of the work. So, I think the last thing that I want to talk about in, as far as our program is concerned, is peer-to-peer support. And I think that that's something that we have really tried to build on for the last few years, and something that that does exist in a really good form right now, but we really plan to continue developing as we move along. The peer-to-peer support has been phenomenal. We have created a mentor Discord that the mentors use for a lot of different things, and it's been really successful. Do you want to talk a little bit about peer-to-peer support and how that's beneficial to mentors?
Yeah, it's I mean, everyone sometimes needs mentoring, and one of the common fears that mentors have is they're like, I don't know how to talk about this. I don't know how to lead a group, things like that. And one of the things that's been really helpful is just to be able to be like, great, I've got 10, 15, 20 other people I can introduce you to who have all led circles and who can all talk to you about what it's actually like. I think the idea of like leading a group, the program's also virtual. I don't know if we mentioned that, but like the idea of like staring at a Zoom screen with like 8 strangers' faces staring back at you is intimidating. That can be intimidating, and that's okay. And so being able to talk to any number of mentors about their experience and even sometimes join like audit someone else's circle or like join for a part of a circle just to see how it looks is really helpful. People are often worried about their curriculum, like what are they going to talk about each week. We have plenty of mentors who are like, oh, here are all my notes, here's all my slides, here's all my decks that I used, go ahead and check them out. And so if folks are feeling nervous, they don't have to think that they have to invent this wheel all by themselves. They are immediately connected to this very large network and can get tons of support that way. We also have a couple of meetings each cycle called Mentor Connect sessions, where we invite the mentors to just get together and we just like talk about what's going on. And it's not like a lesson, there's no training, it's just mentors getting together to talk about the successes and the challenges and give each other support.
I think another way that peer-to-peer support has become really valuable for our mentors is in lending other perspectives. We have a lot of mentors who are willing to come to somebody's circle for one session to talk about their expertise, their experience. And so, I think anyone who steps forward to mentor, they do it usually with an understanding of, this is like a subset of skills that I have to give, whether it be soft skills or hard skills or technical skills. And this is an area where I really don't know anything. And if that area comes up, our mentors now have this massive network of other mentors, a lot of whom have those missing skills. I say missing. I don't know if that's what I mean, but we don't all have every skill. So if somebody notices within their circle, these are really amazing technical artists, but they all lack a deep understanding of what networking is, what it means, and how it can affect your career. And so they might step into that mentor Discord and say, does anybody know anybody, or can anybody come and talk about the value of networking? And Aydrea might step forward and say, you know what, that's my wheelhouse, and I would be really happy to come and talk about networking for an hour in your circle. And so it's become not just a place where mentors can go to get advice on how to do better within their circle, but to get actual help, to get other perspectives, and to find speakers and other people to bring in their own expertise. So it's been something that I think that we have loved watching how it has organically grown, and how it's become just a really valuable tool for our mentors to be able to, reach out and get that perspective from other people. So we've been really happy with it. And the mentor connects. No, please.
Two things. One is, yes, we love a guest speaker in our circles. And I think that's something else that's really nice and flexible is, yeah, you don't have to do it all. Like you can have, if you have, 8 meetings, you're gonna have 4 guest speakers. Great. Amazing. Like you're doing a service to all the mentees, you're letting them get to know other people, and it's fantastic. And this is actually like taking a step back, but I think something else that's really nice about the program is it is finite. I think sometimes like if especially on a personal level, if you're introduced to someone, I mean, I've gotten those LinkedIn messages like, hey, I'm a person and I'm looking for a mentor. And my brain is like, do I have to mentor you forever? Like, what are the parameters of this relationship? And our program is 4 months long. And at the end of that 4 months, it is completely, totally acceptable to be like, great, thanks for your time, bye. And there's no obligation to stay in touch with those people ever again. You may, some people choose to, but there are really clear parameters that are like, if like something comes up in your life and you need to kind of like check out of that stuff for a while, great. If you're just like, that's all I wanted to give, no problem. As opposed to like some other instances where it kind of feels like, am I responsible to you for the next 20 years? Like, how do I get out of this? We give you an out. It is at the end of your 4-month time. And I think that's for me, as like bubbly as I am, and in moments like this, hardcore introvert, and like I need to know that things are going to end, and that's been really helpful for me.
Yeah. I think I think that could be a really great consideration for anybody who's going to start out as a mentor too. If you feel unsure, make sure that you find a program that does have a definite time frame and that you can walk away from, and that's built in, right? That you don't have to terminate that yourself. It takes away, I think, a lot of the awkwardness and the uncertainty of becoming a mentor when your expectations are clearly defined, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's been a lot about our program. And I think that we just wanted to talk a little bit about why people mentor and what kind of stops people from mentoring. And then we're going to talk a little bit about challenges and rewards. And then we're going to take questions from everybody. So I think so we reached out, Aydrea and I reached out to our network of mentors, and we asked, why do you mentor? What drew you to mentorship, and why do you keep mentoring? Because we do have a lot of mentors in our program. We do have a lot of people that are one and done. They come, they mentor, and I do think they enjoy the program. We get pretty good feedback. And then, and that's it. And that's great. We're very happy to do that. We're very happy for you to come one time. And we also love it when we have repeat mentors. And so we asked people, why do you mentor? One of our repeat mentors, Christy Page, said to us that it's great to donate money to organizations like WIA. I'm going to throw in other advocacy organizations, but to really feel like you're putting effort into and helping to improve your own industry, you should volunteer. You should be a part of that change. And so, yeah, I think that's a really exciting aspect of mentorship.
Can I add something to, not add something to her quote?
Please add. Yeah. No.
That's bizarre. But what
Great.
that makes me think of is, I know for me, one of the things about mentoring that's really helpful is it is a really great way to stay abreast of like the realities of the industry. I broke into the industry 20 years ago. So in my head, I'm like, well, here's what people should do. But it's really helpful to hear from people who are breaking in now and being like, actually, this is how it is. And then we can brainstorm together and I can pull in, you know, it's not going to work for someone today the way it worked for me in 2002. And so I can pull in the things that I do know. I can talk about resilience, and I can talk about grit, I can talk about communication and being clear about who you are. But the like job application process is a little different. And mentoring people allows me to keep my thinking updated and my understanding of the industry updated, so that one, I know how best to help people, and also just so I know like what's going on in the industry in general. Like after you've been in it for a while, you're in your silo and you're like, well, I guess this is how it works, but it doesn't necessarily work that way for everybody else. And so I think the boots on the ground, you can actually help do that improvement when you're regularly interacting with people who are trying to interact with your industry in new ways or for the first time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. And I think the overriding sentiment in asking this question was that so many people have received mentorship and want to pay it forward. And I think that is the most common reason that people want to mentor, is because they've been mentored. They've experienced the fruits of somebody else's investment in you and their labor and their time and their expertise. And they want to do that. So I think that's really the overriding force behind mentorship, which is such a beautiful place for something to originate, right? From just a space of giving, and recognizing need and just wanting to help. So of course, mentorship is a beautiful thing, and that's why, right? But what keeps people mentoring? And I think this for me is really exciting. We got a lot of great responses from our mentor community. A lot of people keep mentoring because they believe in we as mission. That's why people mentor specifically with us. But most people want to continue paying it forward. And then a lot of people said that they learn and grow with every round of mentorship. Imka, who is the other component of what Aydrea does, our other mentor coach, she says, I learn and grow with every mentorship. The mentees give me new perspectives and help me to expand my knowledge. I think mentoring helps me to get better, and the WIA mentor community is wonderful. So yeah, why else do you think there's more to why people come back for more, why people continue to mentor?
I mean, I think it's, I think it can be really fun. I think it can be fun. It can be really interesting. I think it's intellectually stimulating. It's also like another way of networking. It's like, ideally, these are going to be people who are also working in the industry. And like, so that's important. Like, they may or may not be the person who gives you a job, but if you can recommend great people for roles, that is like a great way to build onto your networking. Yeah, I think it can just be really fun. It's fun to like talk about what you're good at. Yeah,
agreed. Well, let's talk a little bit about challenges. What do you think is the biggest challenge? I mean, you have mentored, you coach these mentors. What does it feel like? Is there reluctance typically, or do you know what I mean? Like, what do you think people anticipate being their biggest challenge as a mentor?
I think that so most of the time, by the time people get to me, they have like at least somewhat committed to doing it. So they may have some fears, but we're not really getting them over the hump of deciding to do it. I think the like imposter syndrome of it all is always a big deal. People saying, I don't have anything to offer. I still haven't become the like VP of this department, so I don't have anything I could possibly share with anybody. And that's false. anyone who's done anything has something to share with someone. One of the challenges I give my mentees is for them to find an opportunity to mentor. And I often am mentoring people who are earlier in their careers, and they're like, but I don't know how to do anything. I'm like, you finished schooling. There are people right now who haven't finished schooling. Schooling can be hard, it can be really challenging. You can help people finish schooling. You've gotten your first job. There are people who haven't gotten their first job yet. So you may not be able to walk them into the door and be like, hire this person, and that happens, but you can speak to the experience that they're going through. And so I think people feeling like, I want to mentor, but I don't think I have anything to offer. I haven't done enough, especially, I don't know the like demographic breakdown of who's watching this thing. And I hate to get all like binary about it, but like, especially women, like I am one, I know how this goes. I'm like, oh no, I'm not the best, most perfect, completely flawless version of what I want to be. So therefore I shouldn't try to help anybody because I'm a mess and a monster. And it's like, no, like we all have something to offer. We're all imperfect, and that's fine. I think that feeling of like, I haven't done enough, I'm not good enough somehow is, do people really want to hear from me? And the answer is yes. So I think that's like a really big thing. And then for me personally, I can speak a lot to the personal side of like setting like boundaries and also like feeling tired. Like, again, all of us have stuff going on, whether that's like our job or our families or our children or our relatives or our partner or our pets or our own desires for like downtime. And I think it can be really scary to try and take on something else, even when you really want to. And I think knowing that you can set boundaries and you can carve out, actually, these are the people I want to work with, and this is what I want to talk about, and this is how much time I want to give, and understanding that you can like be safe in that space. That is like huge for me. I have a lot of like anxieties about being like like overwhelmed by the needs of other people, and mentoring can feel very vulnerable because you are being like, hey, I'm just a person and you're just a person and I'm helping you. But knowing that you can set boundaries and like have that safety for yourself has been really helpful for me.
Yeah, that's great. You know, it's I think imposter syndrome came through a lot on my questions to the mentors. I think imposter syndrome is a really big one. And also perfectionism came through a lot. Like you don't have to be perfect. So it's really interesting because we do see so much repetition in that theme of where I just don't think I have enough to give. If you're thinking about mentoring, you don't have to think about being the highest level person mentoring somebody coming in the door. Look 3 years below you. Look 3 years below where you are in your career level. Look 4 or 5 years below where you are in your career level. If you're early career level or breaking in, look at students. You know, you can always, there is somebody just below where you have achieved that could benefit from the knowledge that you've gained from your journey. Even if your journey is just starting, even if your journey isn't quite where you would like it to be, there's always somebody that can benefit from that. Want to talk a little bit about rewards of mentoring. This was really exciting for me when I was going through the responses from some of our mentors about like, what are your biggest rewards of mentorship? I loved reading these because some of them I never thought of. And I think I'm just going to start with the most obvious, which is the immediate payoff and gratification of being in front of a group of people who generally everybody expresses how they have benefited from your mentorship. So just being a part of that network building, it's immediate gratification, right? So everybody loves that. Everybody loves the building up of everybody in the group. It is always a positive environment. And it's always really exciting to watch everybody like enjoy and take in anything that you've learned. And you can immediately see that that makes an impact on people.
Yeah.
But what I really got excited about was the soft skills improvement. I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about that because I know you've said it before too.
Yeah, just like taking on that leadership role and growing. Like, you're gonna grow by having to figure out how to communicate with these people, and you're going to learn more about how to present your ideas, and you're going to get lots of positive feedback as well, which is just like great for confidence and great for leadership. We've had mentors come in, start off like so like soft spoken and quiet and shy, and then like 2 rounds later they're like, let me tell you how to run this program. Like, they're like super confident and like full of all the stuff, because again, like, mentors are also learning stuff too that it's hard to like, that you don't even necessarily know that you're trying to learn, and it's hard to like, let me find a class in these soft skills, and instead of, you're just putting yourself out into the world and doing something, and you're just going to grow by doing that, I think is very cool.
Yeah, and that's something that we've seen in our Mentor Connect sessions. Like Aydrea just said, that we've had mentors come in and so quiet, and in our Mentor Connect sessions just kind of stood back and said, well, my group is really quiet, and I'm not quite sure, how to navigate that. And they get a lot of support from other mentors, but then they come back another round and the vibe is so different. And it's the greatest thing for Aydrea and I to watch. Somebody, instead of just chiming in with their challenges, are now chiming in with advice, and saying, you know what, I had a really quiet group the first round too, and here's what I did, and it really worked great. I also maybe tried this and it didn't work as great, but and we had one, I think one of my personal favorite experiences in a Mentor Connect was one of our mentors who came in and was very soft-spoken on her first round. On the second round, she came in with the advice, you should lead with your expectations. Lead that you expect them to attend every session. And she was giving this advice, and I was just like, who are you? And she just said, you know what? I loved my first group. Everyone was nice and everyone was great. But I realized that if I had stepped out with a little bit more confidence the first time, it would have made all the difference in the world. Now, that first group was still enormously successful, but as this mentor has continued to participate in our program, we have gotten to watch her grow in confidence, in communication, in leadership, in public speaking. And so that is the kind of soft skill development and improvement that we constantly see in our mentors that we absolutely love, and that is such a big benefit. So yeah. We really love that. We've had a lot of mentors say self-reflection, that they've, self-reflection and really solidifying their career path, and wanting to take on more leadership roles. Anything else? Any other last thoughts on the rewards of mentorship?
Have any other additional thoughts other than the like, and it can feel like self-serving, but it's like you're also in like a new community of like super kind-hearted, generous, cool people, and it's odd to say that we don't care about continuing to build relationships and network ourselves, and it's like, here's a wonderful community to build your network through. Everyone's very kind, very giving, very generous. We're coming together around these like amazing shared values, and there's tons of support, and I think it's also a helpful handy thing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all we have in the way of material that we've prepared. We wanted to leave at least a couple minutes for questions. So
absolutely, there definitely are some questions. I just want to say thank you. As someone that I've had a handful of really wonderful mentors throughout my career. I've also mentored a few folks. It was just really lovely hearing from you guys. So thank you for sharing all of that. It's like the moments where you're like, yeah, I so much of that just resonated with me. So thank you so much. We do have a few really good questions from the chat. And again, those in the chat, if you are pondering or thinking of questions or thinking how to phrase your questions, just drop them in the chat. We'll get all of them and talk through. So first question, comment and then question. Mentoring people leaving school is such a great idea. Do you ever take people who are switching careers or those that have been out of school for a while?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So yes, so we so one of the things that came up earlier that Kate was sharing was that we have the folks who apply to our program are everywhere from their last year of school to any other point in their career. So
Cool.
we have folks at every level of their career applying to the program. Our particular program varies, like all of our mentors are volunteering, so we don't have like a set curriculum that every single round we have these exact circles. Every round we have our 40 to 50 mentees, or sorry, 40 to 50 mentors, and they say, this is, and each one says, this is what I want to talk about. So each round, there may be specifically a circle that says, this is a circle for people specifically switching careers. Or there may be a circle that says, breaking in when you're not right out of school. And so it's, the answer is yes. And also the exact details of exactly what's on offer vary a bit round to round.
That's lovely. Yeah. So it's never stale.
Right. Now I'll add to that we're very careful when we talk about career stages to not associate ages with that in any way, because we one of the groups of people that we really wants to advocate for is people joining the industry as a second career or as a career transition. And so we're very, very aware and very supportive as we can be. And we're hoping to increase that level of support to people that are transitioning into the animation industry from other careers. And so, we're really thoughtful about that. And we always jump at the opportunity to have circles directly catered towards people in the midst of a career transition.
Yeah, I love that. And that's, I think, again, a really thoughtful way to approach it, because there are so many folks that are mid-career, what is an age? It's just a number, mid-career that may have shifted from, writing to animation or graphic design or who knows what to who knows where. So yeah, thankful that you guys are considering that. Next question. And you guys touched on this a little bit, but are there key traits that mentors have? Is there like a shared personality that, you feel collectively a lot of your mentors have that someone could say, oh, hey, I'm sort of like that. Maybe I would be a good mentor as well.
That's a really interesting way of asking that question. I haven't thought about it that way before. I think that while all of our mentors share, I would say, values around generosity and kindness and giving back and things like that, the personalities are all over the place. Like we have people who are really shy and quiet, and we have people who are like super gregarious and I'm trying to like make eye contact at Kate and like do you know who I'm thinking of? Super gregarious and like very outgoing. I think the values are the same. I think the way that those values manifest in a personality are I would say I think there's a similar personality vibe in that like everyone's kind of artistic. Like, we have our technology folks who also mentor, but we all work in animation or visual effects. So so that type of personality I think is pretty consistent, but there's still plenty of personality nuance, I think.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I think that mentorship, I think I said this earlier, but mentorship is born from a desire to give back. And so I think that is the base quality in a mentor, and that it doesn't, and like Aydrea said, like there's no set personality style that is going to make you a successful mentor, but a genuine desire to give back to your community and to help people grow is really the one thing that unifies all of our mentors. And their personalities just come through differently in the way that they set up their circle and in the way that they run and manage their circles. And that is such an array. But mentorship is just born from a desire to help people.
Yeah. I love that. So for everyone out there that's in the creative industries, if you feel that urge to help the next wave of up and coming artists and animators, but also anyone in the industry, definitely check out the WIA site.
I'm so sorry. I just
go ahead.
One thing is that while we do work in an artistic industry, we always talk about the art, technology, production, and business of animation.
Yes.
And so it is an artistic industry, but even if you don't have an artistic bone in your body, we have mentors that span and provide expertise in all of those areas. And sometimes the business of animation draws a crowd.
Oh, sure.
No, thank you for bringing that up, Kate, because it is, yes, I think using a lot of shorthand, we kind of like all my examples earlier were like storyboard artists, but like
I thought about that too, as you were saying.
Truly, we have circles that touch on everything from, yes, the art side, the production side, business side. We have executives, we have technologists, we have everyone that makes animation go from any point in the process, pre-production, production, post, business, the whole situation, for sure.
Love that. Thank you also for adding that, because it is important that it's not just artists, it's not just illustration. Within the whole pipeline of making something, there are so many different bits and points and pieces and components, and one person's task and job of course leads into the next person. So mentorship all around for everything.
And on the independent and commercial side as well, I would say. We also have circles for folks who are like taking their own thing to a festival circuit and they want to know how to make that work. And we have circles for folks who are like, I want to work inside this giant corporation.
I love that. Okay. I think this might be our last question. And this question is specifically for those that are mentors. What are some ways that mentors, and again, you brought up your Discord community for mentors, which is great. But what are some ways that, or some tips that you can give for mentors to stay motivated, to continue to mentor, or I guess, and also maybe not face mentor burnout?
I want to say that communicate and take time for yourself. Be realistic about your boundaries, about the time that you have to give, but also communicate. I remember talking to a mentor who had experienced a really successful, this happened to be a gentleman. And so he had experienced a really successful, really solid circle where the circle stayed in touch after the 4 months. And, he popped in and out, and he knew they had built this very strong network. And then his next circle did not have that longevity that the first circle had. And he said to me, was it a success? Should I even do this again? I don't know. After my first circle, I don't know if I can qualify this as a success. And we tell our mentors all the time, you giving your time and energy is a success. It is, I don't know if you can hear all the thumping. We're having a lot of fun in this house right now, but you giving your time, you giving your expertise, that is a major success in and of itself. And you shouldn't have any expectation for the circle to last beyond the limits and of what we've set up for this program. If it does carry on, that's great. That's a bonus. But if you do it one time, it's a success. It's a success to give back. You entered it for the purpose of contributing what you have to contribute to a group of people, and therefore you did it. You were a success. And so I would just say, be careful about how you define success for yourself. Make sure that that's something that you can control. Otherwise, you'll never feel successful.
That's really wise. I love that. And also just to reiterate the boundary, I'm a big boundaries girly. Like, if you some of our mentors, they do their 4 hours, and also they are open to their mentees at like any moment in time. If that's not you, no worries. Just make it clear. One of my mentees from my last round, even though the circle was on networking, she was a writer. She wanted me to read some stuff. I read 2 drafts and she sent me another one. And I was like, I need you to know this is going to be the last draft of this that I can read. And it's not that I didn't want her to be successful. The script had come a long way, but I was like, this is where this is the edge of my boundary, and I'm letting you know. And then and it's been great. She didn't see many more drafts, and so it's wonderful. So I think, yeah, defining success in like ways that you can control, and not being afraid of your own boundaries, very useful.
Right. That is super wise. And thank you for sharing that as well. I think it's always difficult for us to set boundaries. Sometimes as people, it's also difficult to communicate said boundaries. But thank you again. Of course, everyone in the chat is sharing their thanks for sharing all your guys' information. We really appreciate you joining us, Kate and Aydrea. I think that will wrap up our stream today. This is so wonderful. So many good tidbits. Of course, this is recorded and will live live on the Wacom YouTube channel for you guys to listen to again and again and again. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the chat. Thank you, Sarah Jean, on the back end for making sure everything runs smoothly and everyone can hear us. Well, y'all, thanks so much for joining us. We will wrap it up. Any final thoughts? Any final words?
No, I mean, mentor.
Thing
to do. But thank you on behalf of WIA, and thank you very much, Megan and Sarah Jean, for helping us in supporting this. We're really happy to be here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And for more updated info for upcoming Connected Ink streams, of course, you can head over to our community blog at I think it's community.wacom.com. There's a ton of great information, tutorials, videos, all sorts of wonderful posts and blog stories to keep you inspired on your creative journey. We thank you so much, and we will see you all soon. Thanks, y'all. Have a good rest of your day.